And good afternoon, and welcome to Straight Talk. This is your Drive at 5 show. Catherine Tyson, your host. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. It is Hot Topics Tuesdays, and of course, I'm looking forward to hearing from some of you, whether that is sending an email, a text, or calling 9433700, an email, straight talk at star927cayman.ky for those shy ones. And if you wanted to send a WhatsApp or a text, 939-2223, with some thoughts. And if some of you are shy and you don't want to be heard on the radio, so we're looking forward to hearing from you this afternoon. It is Tuesday, and like I said, it's Hot Topics Tuesday. So first we'll start out with some inspiration for today. I love to start it with that. I know it's seductive to stand outside the arena because I think I did it my whole life and think to myself, I'm going to go in there and kick some butt when I'm bulletproof and when I'm perfect. And that is seductive. But the truth is that never happens. And even if you got as perfect as you could and as bulletproof as you could possibly muster when you got in there, that's not what we want to see. We want you to go in, we want to be with you and across from you, and we just want for ourselves, the people we care about, and the people we work with to dare greatly. And that was a quote from Brene Brown. Okay, so we're always waiting for something, waiting until we're ready, waiting until we're strong enough, waiting until we finish this, waiting until we lose weight, waiting until we have enough money, waiting until we get older, waiting until we feel better. Just do it. Just like Nike, just do it. So get in there because the world is waiting. Okay. Steve Jobs. I don't know if I've mentioned a quote from him before, but I find quite a few from him, and it's really the Apple guy, right? Really so poignant because he is no longer with us after doing this amazing thing and making all of this money. Died of cancer. He says, your time is limited. Don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living the result of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary. Okay, and this is from a man who achieved great feats in his life and has left a lot of those things that we're able to enjoy right now and is not here to enjoy it. So do not waste your time living someone else's life. Do not waste your time being jealous. Do not waste your time being siding eye someone else and I wonder what they're up to and why they're doing that and how they've chose them, and just get in the ring and stop second guessing yourself. Have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. Your heart already knows what you truly want to become, and I tell you that all the time. Listen to your gut, man. Ladies and gentlemen, we have that gut feeling. Listen to it and follow it at all times. Yeah. If you don't go after what you want, you'll never have it. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. If you don't step forward, you're always in the same place. And that's Nora Roberts, who is an author. I don't know how many of you have read so many Nora Roberts novels that have been amazing. She actually came to Cayman probably about 10, 15 years ago or so. I met her when she was doing a book signing. I've just loved Nora Roberts' books. And yeah, if you don't go after what you want, you'll never have it. Because if you don't even try, how are you going to have it? And if you don't ask, well, the answer is going to be no. Because if you don't ask somebody for something or you don't ask for that thing, are you going to get it? Chances are no. So the answer is always no when you don't ask. And if you don't step forward, sure enough, you will always be in the same place. That is some encouragement for you this top of the hour for the show as we get into our Hot Topics Tuesday today. Okay, so a couple of community events just want to let you guys know about. Like I've always tell you all the time, grab the kids and go do some stuff. There are free things to do all the time on the island. And if you're on a budget, and I tell mothers that because my MO, my modus operandi for many, many years was being a single mother to three little children who are now big people. And money was a challenge, of course, because you're working, and Cayman is not the cheapest place. We know that. That is the cry of the wild, of course. And but what I do know is there are lots of activities that you can go and enjoy, and some of them are actually for free. So let's talk about May 5th. That is the National Gallery. That is today. Meditation with Mirabelle de Cunha. And you need to de-stress and recenter. Mirabelle de Cunha, sorry if I'm calling your name wrong, is leading a series of free, hear it, people, free meditation workshops at the National Gallery from 6 to 6:45. So you need to turn around right now where you're going or make a plan for that. Free meditation workshops at the National Gallery from 6 to 6:45. Register for the full series or for individual sessions by emailing education@nationalgallery.org.ky. For more information, call 945-8111. Free meditation. We all need that. We all absolutely need free meditation. It is such a great thing for us to just be able to be centered and find your center and hear your voice. Hear your breath. Feel your breath. Feel your heart. Feel your life, that you're alive, and it just kind of recenters you and refuels you and helps you to kind of like get things sorted a little bit in your head. If you're a little things are kind of all over the place in your head, what I find, if I take that moment to just slow down, just breathe, just listen to my breath, and just take things one at a time. So if I have like 10 things and I'm overwhelmed, I might just stop. Just that's it. Just stop for that moment and let things kind of swirl around me. Let them settle like the dust, meaning that I might sit down and veg out watching some some Netflix binging, or I might read a book. Nora Roberts, always a good author. Laverne Spencer, another good author. Pick up a book and just or do some meditation and just figure it all out. And then when you start breaking things down from those 10 that's overwhelming you, it might actually be that you can do one at a time. You conquer that. All right, good. That's off my list. Another one, and then that's how you kind of shell it down, and it's just make things a lot more easier for you. Okay. Another thing, on the 6th, that's tomorrow, the Chamber Workshop, Employment and the Labor Law. If you've ever confused about that, want information, knowledge is power. Understanding the basics of the labor law. This course will provide an in-depth overview of the major components of the labor law and will cover the employment contract, types of leave, hours of work, severance pay, and termination. And instructors are Hugh Moses, OBE. He's well versed in all aspects of employment law, and Associate Hillary Brooks. The workshop goes from 9 to 1, and you can call the chamber to register for that workshop. Okay, speaker series, If These Walls Could Talk. Arthur Lynn Pedley on the 6th of May. Also, the National Trust speaker series continues with If These Walls Could Talk with Arthur Lynn Pedley, and focuses on the life and times of Rael and Roland Baden, Georgetown, 1880s to 1970s. The venue is the Georgetown Public Library, and it goes from 5:30 to 6:30. Tickets are $25, and NTCI members receive a 10% discount. Light refreshments will be provided. Purchase tickets online at nationaltrust.org.ky events, or call 749-1121 for more information. 749-1121, and that's for the If These Walls Pedley, focusing on life and times of Rael and Roland Baden, Georgetown, 1880s to 1970s. Okay, the number again for the meditation is 945-8111, and the number for the speaker series is 749-1121. All right, there's an annual spring tea party coming up on the 8th of May, and that is at St. Ignatius Spring Tea Party. Saturday, 8th of May from 2:30 to 5 o'clock p.m. Tickets are $5 and include afternoon tea, drink and finger foods, entertainment, and a chance to win some spectacular door prizes. It's always a beautiful and affordable event for young people to enjoy with their mother, grandmother, aunt, or etc. on Mother's Day weekend. So take your mom to the annual spring tea party at St. Ignatius on this Saturday from 2:30 to 5 o'clock. You can call 949-6797 or email ignatius at candw.ky to purchase tickets. All right, so there's an idea for Mother's Day for your mom this coming weekend, which I'll tell you some more things that you can kind of look at doing for your mom there, yeah? St. Albans Church of England services of Holy Communion, 9th of May. That is actually on Mother's Day. On Sunday, May the 9th, there will be a service of Holy Communion and celebration of Mother's Day at St. Albans Church of England on Shedden Road at 9:30 a.m. Children are welcome to come with their parents, so no drop-offs. There will be light refreshments after the service, and I am sure most churches in Cayman will be having some amazing Mother's Day services. So go ahead and not forget that Mother's Day is actually on Sunday. I felt like it came fast this year. All right, share moments with mom at Camana Bay this Mother's Day. Mother's Day is Sunday, May the 9th. The shops, stores, and services at Camana Bay are here to help. Okay, so they're helping with brunches, gift options, free photo sessions, and chance to win an ultimate prize pack. There's something for every mom at Camana Bay. So capture memories with mom on Saturday with a free Mother's Day portrait taken by photographer Guy Waller. All right, on Thursday, May the 6th, spend some time with a special cooking class at Bon Vivant and cultivate a new skill together by dropping into three girls in a kiln on the corner of Market Street to decorate and personally glazed or customized piece, or you can shop solo. On Sunday, May the 9th, there's Mitsu Asian Bistro and Bar and Pani Indian Kitchen coming together for an Asian and Indian inspired feast that will take mom on a journey through the Orient for only $55 per person. Families can enjoy all you can eat Asian and Indian classics and beer, wine, and well drinks. I'm giving them a free advertising because I so believe in Mother's Day and doing stuff for your mom and your dad when Father's Day comes. So, definitely you want to do that. Looking to celebrate at home this Mother's Day, enjoy an easy but indulgent Mother's Day dinner at home with Carnivore's Dinner in a Box offering, or make your mom a nice meal. Make her brunch or breakfast or lunch, dinner, whatever it is. Just don't forget to spoil your mother and to go ahead and remember her. Get her a card, get her a nice gift or something. Just remember her, okay? I want you to make sure we're doing that because it's your mom. All right. So I know I have 3 people out there that are not listening to this possibly, but you know what happens on Mother's Day, right? Wink, wink. All right, hot topics. We're talking about the Westin Resort plans the June reopening. The Westin Resort in 7 Mile Beach is preparing to reopen for staycations from June, so that's going to be exciting. The hotel has been closed since Cayman shut its borders and went into lockdown as COVID-19 arrived on these shores in March last year. We all are very familiar with that. It's what, a little bit 2 months away, almost 2 months away from a year. A year, I guess, just a year ago when we were just all, wow, just at the time of our life that we never thought we'd see, right? And we were all locked down in our homes and lots of closures. At the time the closure was announced, it was expected that it would involve 30 days of suspended operations. But as of now, it has been 13 months and 4 days. So the hotel is targeting the school summer holidays in Cayman for the staycation market. And they're hoping it's the beginning of a slow and steady rebuild of the resort staff and operations ahead of a safe reopening of the island to international tourists, potentially later this year. So all those staycation thoughts, okay, the Westin is planning a reopening in June. So obviously we're not able to go as we could before, so staycations have become a thing, a real thing, because we've always kind of been celebrating staycations. Probably in the last, I would say, maybe 5 or more years, staycations have become very, very popular. So the Westin will now hopefully be an option coming in June, right? Okay, education program expands into West Bay, an education program that provides intensive extra from underprivileged backgrounds is expanding into West Bay. The Mentor Educate Reinforce program links businesses and private sector sponsors with children who are struggling in school and provides them with a support network to help them catch up. Launched in Georgetown in 2018, the program, which is organized by nonprofit Acts of Random Kindness, initially involved 12 youngsters aged between 7 and 10. They receive special tutoring 5 times a week in small groups, as well as volunteering activities with adult sponsors. Now it is expanding to provide similar help to 12 children in West Bay. The charity has sponsorship for the next phase and is working with education authorities to identify the kids most in need of support. And that's acts of random kindness that we know. I mean, they're very active. They've been very active in our community. Thankful for them, providing so many meals during the pandemic, as well as gift cards, grocery gift cards to fosters, and just really being there 100%, all hands on deck, right? Now, that's a couple of just information stuff that's come up. And in the next half hour, we're going to take a break. Not right now, but in a couple of minutes. But in the next half hour, I want to talk a little bit about what our the first 100 days will look like with our new government, right? And talk about some of the things that were being campaigned. They were campaigning on, because they really don't want us to kind of forget. Remember, we've just now voted in some new people. All of us were involved. We went and we cast our votes one way or the other, and the decision was made. And I'm that one that's always saying work together, regardless of who you liked or who you didn't like, and who got what or who didn't get what. It's over. Stop the moaning, stop the complaining, stop the fighting, and let's work together, because working together for the better good of our country is going to benefit us all. But I also want to remember things that were promised, things that were campaigned on, things that were said, because I want us to all really be responsible voters, understanding that it is a job and it is the country that's being run. And if you have given your faith in to a system, and you've given your faith into a vote, and you believe that whatever the outcome of it is, that it's a fair outcome, and so now these are our leaders, then we need to really be involved with the process. So it's not this passive, every 4 years I just, shake the dust off of me and go vote. No, absolutely not. We're paying attention because it is an interview, and now we have hired 19 people, and we want to ensure that they are held responsible, and that they are sticking to their word, and that they are doing the best thing. And sometimes some things may be difficult to stick to, because when you get in, now you realize, oh, well, I said that, made a, but it's going to need this, this, and this. Now, I don't have a problem with something not happening based on what you said, and now you find out that it's not as simple as that. But I want to know. I want you to communicate with me. I want you to treat me like I got some sense, okay? And I think that that's my biggest complaint as an informed person, an educated person, a person that has knowledge, a person that wants to be involved with our country. And I think we should all take that stance, that it's okay for things to change and not look the way you thought it was going to look, but you can explain that to me, right? And so the only time we don't have to explain some things is when we're dealing with children who don't understand. But unfortunately, and unfortunately, we are not children that vote. We are grown people, and we're expecting that. prudence will always, prevail, right? So that's some of the things that I'd like to chat about when we come back from break. Uh, just want to touch on a couple of things. So we talked a lot about education during the campaign, especially community creates country, and that would be from Ms. Heather Bodden and our premier, Wayne Panton. And so talked a lot about providing more support overall for teachers, but also performance manage them, rewarding those who are achieving good results. Right? Okay, so at least we're on to something here when we're talking about supporting teachers overall, but also paying attention to what they're doing, because we have a lot of complaints from our students that might come home and tell you, oh, this teacher doesn't like me, or this is what this teacher has done. And so who is really managing that process? Not that you're believing every time your child comes home and says that, but in actuality, some of the situations are do require some type of investigation. I know I'm a mother, so whenever my children come home and say, Mr. So and so doesn't like me, I say, what did you do? Why wouldn't he like you? You're amazing. Or, well, I can see why somebody wouldn't like you if you're coming to class late, or that's me. That's the parent that I am, right? So are you hanging out with your friends? Are you not doing your work? Are you doing whatever? But when you hear that one too many times and you yourself go to a reporting session night, report cards thing. So but you have to do as a parent, right? This, you have to be involved. And I would go to a reporting session sometime, and if my child told me that this particular person did not like them one too many times, I could actually tell when I was talking to the teacher. And so when I could feel that, I wanted to now have this conversation, like, okay, so what's happening? What is my child doing that needs to be done differently, or what do I need to do to support you in facilitating my child learning? So it was, here, I'm here with you to help this process. And if at the end of the day this teacher was just somebody that was unmoving, or my child kept telling me things that I thought were inappropriate in classrooms and different things, well, who's managing that? So I think I love that. I absolutely love that idea, to provide more support overall for teachers, but also performance manage them, but also and to reward those who are achieving good results. Now, the only issue I have with rewarding those that are achieving good results, that's all good and dandy, but are you still going to continue to keep those hired that are not achieving good results? Because if somebody is able to just get paid and not achieve good results, then so what? So so there's two sides to that, right? So there is definitely rewarding good results, but also holding ones accountable that are not achieving good results. So that's going to have to take a whole, maybe, a hiring process, and looking at people's backgrounds, and looking at their track record from wherever they're coming from, and also trying to look at how do we localize our teaching market as well, right? How are we preparing our young children that are in fifth grade, sixth grade, seventh grade, to think about some of these professions that they're not thinking about, so that we can start bringing more children that will be interested in nursing, in teaching, in social work, in counseling, in being a police officer, in being something other than a lawyer or an accountant, or in being a surgeon. So those are some of the things that I think are very, very important. So I like that. Another thing that I see on that list for education, because education is huge for me, because I believe that education is the thing that will continue to allow our country to move forward, right, and will allow us to progress. Another thing is they're saying to establish an accredited trade school in Cayman, so that we can start producing our own masons, carpenters, electricians, and plumbers, etc. Once again, instead of importing people to do these well-paying jobs. Absolutely. We've heard about trade schools for 20 plus years now. Okay. So I like it. It's the second thing on the list. So we're kind of going to start looking for that. We're going to start looking for where are the plans for this? When is this going to actually happen? Because what we have found is that things can happen like a snap of a finger if if you put the effort behind it. So it's not just good talk now. It's let's see if that's happening. All right. So I love that. And before I go to break, one more: identify students as academically gifted or more vocationally inclined from the primary school level, and then steer them in the direction of success as defined by their recognized abilities and talents. Employ more guidance counselors at both the primary and high school levels to facilitate this process. Absolutely. Speaking my language, social workers should also be in school. They're in school in the United States, they're in school in Canada, they're in school in the UK. Why are they not in school in Cayman? Why does a person have to have a teaching degree to work in a school? Social workers need to be involved because it's a parent and school partnership. So, parent and home partnership. Okay. The Parent Teacher Association, the Home School Association, everything, right? It is a partnership. And so, absolutely, I love that. And when you're looking at a child that is gifted, vocationally gifted, or differently gifted, when you test them, then you're able to reduce the numbers of failures in reading this in the education system and exam results and the subsequent emotional and mental effects. There is a place for everybody. So that's absolutely something that needs to be paid attention to right away. Offer more technical, vocational, and educational training, TVET opportunities for students. Meet with educators, students, parents, and education department officials to better understand the challenges faced by each stakeholder. Conduct a comprehensive investigation to how education funds are actually being allocated. You heard, uh, into how it's actually being educated. And I always say, stop spending hundreds of millions of dollars on brick and mortar. Okay, because I come from the Truth for Youth school days and the Cayman Academy, which was the Adventist school, the Edmore school days, where you had the open window blowing some breeze in your face after break, and thank God for it. But we knew how to read and write before we came out of that grade, okay? And we mastered these things. So, yes, stop with all the money on brick and mortar and provide more training for teachers in every school to enable them to recognize students with special education needs and put the necessary resources in place to assist those students with their additional learning needs. Students should not be able to advance until they are given the support they need to successfully navigate the next academic year. So things should be in place, not so much that the child will not be able to advance, but that the child will be able to advance. So see, glass half full. So it's not to hold them back, but it's to ensure that they're able to go forward and not just putting them forward because they have reached a certain age. Listen, this is all good stuff. I love it. Our vision for community and country. Community creates country. All right. That's what we're talking about this afternoon. Okay. And so please don't go anywhere. I want to hear from you. 9433700. Let's continue this conversation with Hot Topics Tuesday. This is your Straight Talk Drive at 5 show. Catherine Tyson, your host, and we'll be back with more. And welcome back to Straight Talk. This is your Drive at 5 show. Catherine Tyson, your host, and today is Hot Topics Tuesdays. And we are talking just about, just some of the things that were promised and talked about during the elections and how we're going to continue to remember these things, continue to support our new government. And I'm reading primarily from the country, the community creates country, vision for the community and country from the actual premier of our country, Wayne Panton, and our very own Heather Bodden, who's a representative for Savannah. And so we were just talking about education and some of the things that definitely need to be put in place to ensure that we're getting some things better, that's coming out, that all of our young people that are coming out of schools are able to find viable forms of work. They're able to feel valuable in the job market. They're able to be prepared when they come out of school, whether that's to go on to further education or whether that's to go on to vocational education and able to join the job market in a permanent capacity. And tell them they're not true. Okay? So, but how do we fix it? How do we fix it? And so sometimes we have to go back in order for us to go forward, right? Another thing they talked about was employment. Cayman is growing and thriving, yet Caymanians are being left behind. All right, I like it. This is a good. Listen, we voted. Okay, we got results. We have a new government. Let's not lose our memory. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Caymanians are being left behind. Too many of our young people are finding it difficult or impossible to get jobs, even after gaining the required qualifications. However, every day we are importing more and more persons on work permits. There is something fundamentally wrong with this picture, especially since in most cases it is not specialist, high experience jobs being advertised, but entry level positions, graduate entry level positions that our young people are not being hired for. Okay, now, I can tell you one thing because this is definitely a line of work that I have been involved with for 15, 20 years of my career. And right now, it is not even that people are not being hired for those jobs. A lot of times, our young people are not prepared for those jobs because they're coming from situations where they're not seeing certain work ethics, certain behaviors. So they're following in the footsteps of some of their examples. So we are now going to have to get deeper into how we break some of those habits and break some of those um, understanding or ideology in the form of our young people. So if they're going home to these types of attitudes, then we have to figure out how in the school we are ensuring that they're getting different type of exposure. Okay, so on the list, it has reassess which jobs can be held by non-Caymanians and mandate that certain occupations are held by Caymanians only. For example, real estate. Now, here's the problem with that. It all sounds good and reads good on paper. The problem with that is businesses have to run. And I was speaking to a local business person the other day that owns, down at certain jobs. So how do we start changing that? Okay, and to ensure that we are on the same track working together, let's not go out hiring these expensive consultants from all different areas of the world that are not familiar with our culture, pay them all this beautiful money that they're just so happy to come here and enjoy the beach on the weekend, but aren't really delving into what our culture needs and how our culture needs to be addressed and not come with the fancy words and fancy plan. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. So, businesses have to conduct business. Businesses are in business to make money. money. So if you have to work at 8 o'clock in the morning on Monday, you need to be there at 8 o'clock on Monday. You don't need to be there at 8:30. You don't need to be there at 9 o'clock. You don't need to complain about a ride. You don't need to complain about you woke up late or your baby was sick and you name it. And then worse, you're going to show up on Monday at 8 o'clock, or sorry, you're going to show up on Monday at 8:30 or 9 o'clock, and you're going to want to leave early. You're not going to come back on time for lunch. You're going to want to leave before 5 o'clock, and then you're going to say that Caymanians aren't having a chance in their country. Okay, that's also a big problem. And if you're working Monday through Friday, you got to go to work Monday through Friday. You can't go to work on Monday, Tuesday, then you're sick on Wednesday, then you're going to come in late on Thursday. So the point is this, it's not that simple to just tell businesses they have to hire Caymanians, right? Yes, that's okay, but we also have to have Caymanians prepared and ready to work because we're not teaching the right lessons or the right messages either, right? So uh, these are some things that have to go straight in the middle, like get to the middle to find out where is the problem, work with the community officers, work with the social work departments, work with the NAU, work with those people who are actually experts and specialists in certain areas, and have them help you work from the inside out. Okay? Yeah. All right. That's just my advice on that. All right. Ensure that secondary and tertiary level students, both locally and overseas, are connected to work to increase their chances of securing a job once their studies are completed. The secretariat provide work with information, and returning students and work should be communicating with these students about available positions once they return home. Absolutely. There needs to be a system that knows exactly who is studying overseas, what they're studying overseas, and when they're coming home. Now, the scholarship secretariat has that information. It is not hard to find. It should be a, definitely a concerted effort to ensure that when our graduates come back from university, they can step into those jobs. You know what? Even if it's a training position, even if it's a position that they're going to be shadowing somebody, that's fine. We get it. They're young, they don't have the experience, they have the book knowledge, but they still need experience. Got it. But when you have gone, and I have had three, so you can't tell me that this isn't happening, because I've had three children go to university and three children come home and not have anything to step into. And without the mother, like I am, kind of saying, all right, no problem. You start somewhere, you get this little job. This is going to pay you $1,000 a month. No problem. You stay at home with your mother. We'll work with that. You'll get your little experience, and then you'll get into something different. Without somebody like that in their corner, it could have been a lot more problems, and that's what you're finding. So these aren't the ones we're talking about that aren't showing up on Monday, that are showing up late, that are complaining. We're not talking about those. These are young people that have gone overseas. They have been paid for their scholar. They've had a scholarship that has paid for a portion of their education, because it's not covering everything. I can tell you that, point blank. But it's covering a portion, and so these young people have had to go to class, 2, 3, 4 times a week. They've had to register for classes that might be at night or first thing in the morning. And so they have that work ethic already. They have that discipline. They have achieved this degree. Yet they come home and there's nothing prepared for them. That's even bad investment. So this money on a student and you have no idea what they're doing. Listen, they should be connected to each industry that they're studying for. So when they come home for summer, because most of them come home for the summer, they want to come home summer. Mine came home summer and Christmas. And sometimes they want to come home Easter. I didn't allow that because it's expensive and it's ridiculous. But even if they did. So when they came home summer, it was for a couple of months. So let them be connected to their industry so that they can work. Even if it's just job experience, doesn't even have to be paid. It could be, but it doesn't have to be. And so now you're preparing them, you're getting them with some experience, right? There's some on-the-job training so that it's a natural kind of, just transition. So if they are connected to work, for instance, if they're connected to the labor department, the employment department, that department will know of these jobs that are available in these industries, and they will know, well, John Smith is studying that and he's graduating in June of 2021, and he'll be home by listen, it is not rocket science. Okay, so we're talking about a couple of different areas of employment and of the job market, right? But that particular area is kind of simple. So it's not fair for a young person to come home after studying all of those years, have their degree, and be walking around the place without work, or having to start other places, start at in another job that's outside of your area that you study. But it's okay, because like I said, I walked in one day and I was like, you getting out of this house, you're going to work, because you're not sitting home all day. You're grown and you want to do something, so let's go find something for you to do. But it did not have to be that way. So absolutely. Another thing, employ stricter enforcement of the immigration law and deliver stiffer penalties for non-compliance. There you go. All right, that would be something that um, I think both Ms. Heather Bodden and Wayne Panton would be familiar with, because they were in the government before. So these are some kind of insider knowledge that they would have, that is excellent, that we might not have, to know that, what, if we enforce this, then this is what could be the outcome. Because if you're not enforcing it, then there's room for people to try to circumvent the law per se. All right. Enforce the minimum wage requirement. Okay. That's another thing. So if and that's one of those sticky things, and I think we just need to pay attention to it to ensure that we're not all saying, what, raise it to $10, and then the effect of it is this, and this. It's not that simple. Yeah. So I think just looking at other solutions for that as well. Uh, Maybe with particular jobs having requirements in terms of, what are those jobs worth? What do they pay? Like it could be just looking at what the economy is paying, or what the world is paying for this particular area. You can Google some professions and see, before people even get into some professions, they'll Google to see what that profession is paid across the board. But yeah, definitely enforcing that, or taking a look at it for sure. And when we talk about Cayman being so expensive, I mean, this is a thing. If we're talking about Cayman being expensive, it is not any cheaper for someone who makes 50% less than another person. So if one person makes $3,000 a month, but they go into a grocery store, they're paying the same amount that someone who's making $1,500. And they're paying the same amount for electric, for their electric bill. They're paying the same amount for water. They're paying the same amount, for to go into a hardware store. So to buy food, to go out to dinner. We have to look across the board to say, okay, if somebody is being paid $6 an hour, what does that really mean to a person being able to survive in Cayman? And is that the bigger issue? And if that's the bigger issue, how do we find some way to correct that? Yeah. So it's not like that simple to say, all right, just make it $10 an hour. Because when you think of $10 an hour, $10 an hour times 40 is $400 a week. And think about it, like it is like a 40-hour week is $400. Take out pension, take out insurance. Like $10 an hour sounds like a lot when you think about it. Yeah, it is not bad. Why are they complaining? It's $400. Take out pension, take out insurance. Now what do you have? Times that times four. Now what do you have? You have less than, so because 400 times 4 is 1,600, but if you take out pension insurance, you have less than $1,600 a month. Just think about the economy right now in the Cayman Islands. What are you doing with $1,600? So I'm not saying anything is wrong with getting a job that's paying you something. If you're kind of doing nothing and you're living at home, you're a young person, you're home with your parents, no problem. But if you're a single person, like unless it's two of you making that you're able to try to make a mickle out of mickle, whatever, then that you're still going to be struggling. So That's what I'm thinking. It's not that simple to say, okay, $10 an hour is the minimum wage and let's just make it that. Because that might not make sense in the long run, right? Wherein if you had, you know, teenagers, because I was what, 14, 15, 16 working at Burger King. That's when the first Burger King came out, I was working there, okay, with a bunch of people that I see right now being very successful, doing great in their lives, big grown teenager might work at Burger King, both of them might work at Burger King, 16-year-old. Of course they can make $6 an hour, $7 an hour. Sure, that'd be no problem because they're living at home. That's, you see, that's why that minimum wage thing doesn't make sense when you really, really look at it. And it makes more sense to look at the job and to kind of assess the job in a different way. It's all not just like a cookie cutter fix, because when you start that, then you run into a problem because our cost of living is what it is. So if we're not addressing the cost of living, we might just find ourselves in a deeper problem. We start going across the board thinking this is a quick fix. Because I'm telling you, $1,600 before pension and insurance is not a lot of money to make per month. And that's your $10 an hour, right? So we have to be careful with that $10 an hour beating that drum because we might run into some problems, right? So I think some of these things definitely take a little bit more discussion. And also under employment, we have encourage more engagement between public and private sector to ascertain what jobs are in demand and ensure that education and training opportunities follow the evolving trends. That's a great idea because when let's see, maybe 5 or 10 years ago, when 50 young people said they all wanted to be lawyers. Like I remember when I used to speak at the schools uh, about, I think 2009, 2010. I remember just going out just to the schools because my book had been published at that time. So I was really speaking everywhere. I remember every young person telling me they wanted to be a lawyer. And I remember like the law school getting really filled with young Caymanians training to be lawyers. Now, there's nothing wrong with being a lawyer, but it does make sense to kind of look at the trends, to look at the different areas, to maybe have these career fairs as a regular thing in schools. So it's maybe every term or every year you're having some major different types of professions, even construction industries, electricians, air condition people, like everything, just going to the schools and have like this major event so that all students can go and get the pamphlets and have them do research or do reports on different professions, have people come in and speak to the schools and speak to the students about what they do. I remember, or I don't know, the listeners, you remember when policemen would come to the schools? I mean, I spent some time in the States too as a little girl, and I remember like policemen coming in their trucks, and even security guards would come in and talk to you about their job, and just everything. Like, why is that not happening as much as it should? So when I remember 10 years ago when all of these students wanted to be lawyers, I literally have seen about 10 of those young people that are actually lawyers, and they've been struggling to find work. And there was a big problem with the legal the legal field not having these young people in these positions because of all the expertise that they needed, because they needed to have this exposure and all of the rest of it. And it was a whole thing that was happening during that time. And so yeah, so I think that's a very good thing to kind of look at what jobs are in demand, what are great jobs, and just looking at options. That's awesome. Okay, our vision for Confesto of our newly elected premier and his group and his Are you and your family barely surviving, or are you thriving? Are you prospering? The economy needs to work for everyone, not a select few. The middle class continues to shrink as more Caymanians move closer to the working or lower class. This is not acceptable in a country that is arguably one of the most prosperous in the world. I mean, let me tell you, I don't know about you, speaking my language, right? So it's great. So we want to ensure that this is the stuff that we're going to be seeing, because this is the stuff that we were talking about, and it was pretty important. So improve efficiency of construction, which will result in lower costs in building houses or renting properties. I love that, right? Because everybody should have the opportunity to own something, right? To call something theirs, and it shouldn't just be every time you look around, you're seeing property being sold for $500,000 or $1 million, or a piece of land is being sold for 200,000, 300,000. I mean, you haven't even started building yet. That's definitely not Cayman. Okay, so I agree absolutely. All right, increase the minimum wage from $6 to at least $9. We just talked about that. So $9 would be 9 times 4. That's what, 36, $360 a week. Okay, so 360 times 4. You understand what I'm saying, right? Limit land ownership by mandating that owners must build on their land within a set time frame, or the land is returned to the market. This is something I'd want to talk about a little bit more, just to get some explanation or get some understanding of what that means and why that would be a good thing. Because I mean, I might not understand it. So, like I said, it might be a good idea, but I'd like some explanation about some things. I want to be that person who went to the polls, and I cast my vote. I believed in the people that were representing me, and I believed in what they were saying. And I want to be need you to do everything I want you to do, but I want to know why you're doing that, right? Because I'm involved in my country. I'm going to benefit one way or the other. My children, my grandchildren, my family, and generations to come. When I've passed on, it's still going to be, affecting my country. So yeah, stocks, bonds, real estate, precious metals, or an alternative investment such as private equity fund or hedge funds, and consider taking equity stakes in projects that are seeking government concessions. I'm going to trust the experts on that. So just tell me what you mean. But I'm going to trust the experts, right? I think that's what we want to do. We want to trust the people that have the leadership in their hands, that they're doing what's right by us. Yeah. Overhaul the current pension scheme to make it fit for purpose. Absolutely, everybody is working hard. I tell you, I think more about pension more these days than I ever thought in my life, because I'm getting close to that. I'm getting close to all the time I've put into a system and hoping that it's going to be there for me. So yeah, pretty important. Eliminate duties on certain products that are necessary. For example, baby items, paper products, feminine hygiene products, etc. I love that. I want to see the whole list of that. I think that's amazing. I think that would be great. Why not, right? Slow down the overdevelopment of the island, properly evaluate the overall development, and use data and public input to modernize our development plan so that it reflects the wishes of the people. Yes, absolutely. Implement a concessions policy which allows for a proper assessment of value for money. Grant more concessions to smaller businesses. Okay, so that is definitely, and then of course there's quality of life, healthcare on the elderly, and environment. We're getting close to the close of the show. But I love all of this stuff. Looking at revamping and restarting the government guaranteed home assisted mortgage program, which previously guaranteed up to 35% of the mortgage for Caymanians buying their first home up to a value of $200,000. Absolutely. And if we have, homes that can be built for that, then that should be an absolute benefit, because everybody wants, to own something. Reduce the traffic problem. All right, establishing maybe mandating staggered work and school hours, establishing a fit for purpose, reliable public transport system, and reducing the number of imported vehicles. All right, there you are. That's another thing because traffic is a huge problem, right? So, very good. Healthcare and the elderly, they should be taken care of. Look at a system of national insurance so that the risk is spread uh, among more people. Provide resources that ensure our elderly population have access to activities that engage their minds and bodies, such as adult daycare centers. Engage the elderly within the school system for activities such as storytelling and lessons in life. Listen, I would love to continue all of this stuff, but I want I want us all to be involved, right, with what's going to happen in the next not just 100 days, but what's going to happen in the coming days. I'm looking forward to some great changes. I'm looking forward to some great improvement. I'm looking forward to seeing all of those some of these things, or not all of them, but some of these things come to fruition. But I'm also looking forward to being communicated with because I was bombarded with flyers on my doorstep for a few months. So you can go ahead and put a flyer on my doorstep also to let me know what you're doing. That would not be a problem, right? So that's what we're talking about. This is our country. We are here. We are here to keep you on track. We are here to keep you informed, and we are here to be a partner with you. I think that's what's important. Before I close the show, I'm going to say this from Michael Jordan. I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game winning shot and missed. 26 times. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed, right? So failure is not the problem. We have to continue and keep moving. Get on up, dust yourself off. As you navigate through the rest of your life, be open to collaboration, which is what I'm talking about this afternoon. Collaboration, as a voter, as a member of the community, a member of the country. Collaboration. Other people and other people's ideas are often better than your own. Find a group of people who challenge and inspire you. Spend a lot of time with them, and it will change your life. That's what I'll leave you with this afternoon. Find a group of people who challenge and inspire you. Spend a lot of time with them, and it will change your life. All right, we all have great gifts to bring. We just need to work together and for the good of all of us. This is Cayman, and we all need to thrive. And I think we're on our way, right? So let's just keep it moving. It's not over. It's just started. Thank you all so much for tuning in this afternoon. This is your Hot Topics Tuesday. Straight Talk Drive at 5. Catherine Tyson, your host. You guys have a beautiful evening with your friends. I'll see you tomorrow. Talk to you tomorrow on Wellness Wednesdays. And it will be hump day. So we're almost to the weekend. Take care. Have a great evening.